This suspect has been inspired by some of the world's most infamous killers.
And during the time I was growling and making animalistic noises. So excited, so rushed up on adrenaline and everything.
The night of February 27, 2021, 19-year-old Brian Cohee decides to go on a drive late into the night. But this was no ordinary drive. Brian was heading towards a bridge targeting a homeless victim. This would be 69-year-old Warren Barnes, who lived under a bridge in Grand Junction, Colorado. After Cohee murdered and separated his victim, he fled the scene, only to return to dispose of the body. In the process, his car was swept away into the river.
But it would be the best feeling in the world.
Cohee's mother discovered a head stored in Brian's room. Along with the evidence from Cohee's car, he was then brought into the interrogation room.
This is like some kind of TV.
How did you get here? I murdered someone.
Okay. Can we go back over, I didn't quite understand the dates or what ended up to the body. You said you tried, but it didn't work out.
What do you want to know?
To start back at the beginning and go slow and tell me as many details as you can remember.
Because, I mean, Murray going to jail for the 15 years, probably.
I have no idea.
Because
We're at the beginning now.
it's murder. I mean, I'm going to jail for
Okay.
20, probably. But, I figure, why fight it?
So what's important to me is to learn as much about you and what you did and as I can.
Well,
As many details as you can give me, the better.
I drive a 2007 Ford 500.
Okay.
And I keep a small 18-inch bat in there for self-defense. And a large kitchen knife in the glove box, both for self-defense, because I don't really trust anyone, or really any part of this town, so that's why I have both. And, let's see, yeah, it was the night of February 27th. It was a full moon. And I figured I can see so well, why not drive out? And, I am in a bad state of mind at that time. I have major depressive disorder, so I am not thinking very positively.
Okay.
And I'm cruising around for an hour and a half. So I fill up on gas halfway through, and I'm eventually driving underneath the bridge near the sheriff's office.
Brian, before you start, you say you have a major depressive disorder? I'm just curious what those are.
I have high-functioning Asperger's.
Okay.
I have ADHD
Uh-huh.
and major depressive disorder.
Cohee's doctor diagnosed him with level 1 autism, indicating the mildest form of autism that typically requires minimal support. During a conversation with his doctor regarding his future aspirations, Cohee expressed admiration for notorious figures such as evil dictators and individuals like Ted Bundy.
I should say this is the office, right? And this is the parking lot. Take a turn, and here is the bridge. That one. And it was right here.
Okay.
By the way, I'm a habitual late shaker.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get the password for your phone? They just want
Do you work?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
Not even part-time. I was going to say part-time, not even. As a bagger / courtesy clerk for Safeway, I work anywhere from 2 to 4 days a week.
As stated by a former coworker, Brian underwent a noticeable transformation, becoming remarkably talkative in the months leading up to his crime. Cohee shared his complaint about not having friends with this person, who tried to cheer him up by saying that his coworkers were his friends. Brian responded saying, "They're only my friends out of pity."
There's a road underneath, right?
Uh-huh.
Under the overpass. And I was driving along, and I see a shape here on the railway track. So I'm like, oh, interesting. So I go up, and as I'm looking, I see a large thing wrapped in a canvas.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's a homeless person. So I grab my knife, I put on 3 layers of gloves, because plastic gloves can betray their users because they're so thin, those vinyl gloves, by imprinting your fingerprints through. So I put on 2, 3 on one hand, and took the knife I pulled back the canvas and I just his neck.
Okay.
He was panicking at first in his old man voice. He was in his 50s. I know why I call him an old man. He was saying, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Ah!" And I just kept on his neck. Is it okay if I do it in his face?
Oh, yeah.
This is him. I was straddled on top of him like this.
Okay.
And he couldn't fight back. It was actually surprisingly easy. I was barely breaking the sweat. I thought, oh, this guy, he's going to be tough. But no, it was actually surprisingly easy. And during the time I was growling and making animalistic noises.
Why were you doing that?
I suppose it was a frenzy.
Okay.
I was so excited, so rushed up on adrenaline and everything. Woo! And I paused and he said, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "I've been wanting to do this for a long time, murder someone." And then I continued. The whole ordeal lasted about a minute and a half.
Okay.
And when I was finished him, he took out his last breath, a grunt, and his head was halfway. Actually, after I killed him, I just couldn't stop saying, "Sticky, dirty, dirty." I suppose it was just me speaking out my mind at that moment. It was a pouring out of mind.
Were you worried about, I mean, this looks like it's pretty close to the road and stuff. Somebody seeing you
Well,
or catching you?
It was 11 p.m.,
Okay.
so not many were driving by. Well, it was behind the pillar. So, like, here's the road.
Uh-huh.
It was here. So people would only see a brief thing here and here.
So were you worried about them seeing you?
I was worried about one of them stopping. But
What did you think could happen if somebody...
well, it was quite dark under there, so they wouldn't have seen the guy unless they looked. They would have seen me holding a bloody 12-inch knife,
Okay.
wearing gloves, and wearing a mask to conceal my identity, face mask.
Okay. So you weren't doing it for COVID, you were doing it to hide and say?
Partially. Social distancing. Right. Yeah, but no one stopped. And I'm just like, proves the bystander effect.
I noticed you got a cut in your hand. Is that from...
Oh, that was when I was doing gas, when I filled up. I mentioned I filled up gas when I was driving around.
Okay.
I was driving around, I was on a quarter of a tank, so I filled up on gas. What happened was, because I don't want to be seen in a gas station with a knife poking out of my pocket, I put it in the car, the back seat floor. When I'm done with it, I try and grab it, but my hand slips and grabs the blade, and as I pick it up, it slices these two fingers.
Okay.
Like,
Because a lot of times if you're like this, it'll slide.
no, and they had a guard. It was one of those knives that was
Where
like,
is it?
huh? The knife?
Where is it? Yeah.
My dad had it.
Okay.
He found it in my car.
Not long before the crime occurred, Brian's father mentioned a family gathering where Brian deliberately chose the movie 1984 to watch together. He found this choice to be strange for a family get-together.
And then after that, I stripped his clothes. I opened his belly to see his guts. They're really pink. Sorry, that was morbid. Then I his head. I gave him a Glasgow smile.
What's that?
A Joker smile. I destroyed his eyes by them.
Okay.
And then I his hands. I put those in plastic Ziploc bags. And then I off his right arm at this joint
Okay.
and at this joint. And then at this arm, I tried it here, and then I tried here. But what happened was, I accidentally broke his bone. This one, it was poking out.
Okay.
And so I left that one here, partially bone sticking out. And then I left his body there. And then I took the head, put it in a leftover box from the dinner a few nights ago. And then I took the hands, put them in the back, drove home, hid the hands and head in my room, cleaned the knife, threw away the garbage with the blood on it, and then put the blood stained, wasn't stained, it had splatters on it. I put it in the dish, in the washing machine.
What? What did you put in there?
I put the outfit I murdered him in
That
the
you
washing.
were wearing, or?
Yeah, I was wearing.
Okay.
In the washing machine, put it on high speed so it would effectively remove the blood. Washed it twice. And then I tried going to sleep, but I was worried that because there was a hole in my gloves right here, I was worried that they would be able to obtain a partial print.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, why not go all the way? I drove back in a different outfit, picked up his body, surprisingly heavy, put it in my trunk, and drove to the Blue Heron drop-off station.
Okay.
I parked, so it's like this, right? So let's say this is ground. The ramp is quite steep, and you need to have four-wheel drive to pull out of it.
Okay.
And my car didn't. I thought, I thought that I could drive out. Because I put it in reverse, A, so that it's easier to pull the body out. And B, because the back tires would provide propulsion to push up.
Right.
And I open the trunk, I take his body out, I put it in the water, and because I don't want fingerprints on a body, so I just try moving it with my shoes. That works successfully. He goes out some part in the river and floats off.
Okay.
God knows where he is now. I think my guess was that it would be discovered this morning or next morning, so keep an eye out for any river-related activity.
Okay. So you open, did you arms off, his hands off, all that before you went home?
Yeah, before I went home, I tossed the arm bits around. Like, I took the right arm bit, threw it out,
Okay.
took the left arm bit, threw it
So
out.
live somewhere around that bridge?
Yeah. Because there's an arm. Hey. There's an arm, there's another arm, there's another one.
Okay.
This is like something out of TV.
Right here's a leg. So that could be the upper arm or a leg.
Well, there's three. There, and there.
If we can get the lab out here, that would be the best thing.
Yeah, get forensics out here.
Because I know crime scenes can be a very wide area.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to want to look in a 10-foot area. So, like, this is a zoom in. So, here's the road. And here's where my car was parked. His corpse is here. You're going to want a crime scene that's roughly to the railroad tracks. They're right here. Underneath the bridge. To the railroad tracks here. Just to help your search. Do you mind sometime if I could show you that road? I'm really bad with streets.
Well, we could get you a map, maybe.
Mrs. Cohee revealed that her son had a fascination with morbidity for a long time, and after watching Silence of the Lambs together, Brian expressed a desire to become a crime scene investigator.
I tried to inevitably drive out.
Yeah.
My car didn't come out.
From Blue Heron.
Yeah, from Blue Heron.
Yeah.
My car was stuck. I tried putting it full throttle.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. My car didn't have four-wheel drive. Stupid me.
Okay.
And so then I tried putting it in low gear. I'm trying everything at this.
Right.
And it still doesn't come out. And then it slides into the river.
Oh.
My car slides into the river, me inside.
Oh.
And so I'm there in a car quickly being flooded with water.
Okay.
It is the middle of February
Cold.
at night
Yeah.
in the river that's almost freezing.
Yeah.
I'm drenched. I almost died. So I'm able to climb out. I don't see the body, so I assume it's traveled a bit.
Okay.
And I come up, and I'm sitting there. I need to act fast or else I'll die of hypothermia. I'm panicking a bit at this point. I'm going to be like, this is what I'm going to be remembered for, dying of hypothermia and a botched attempt at hiding a body. And I'm just like, Right, so I'm running, so I go up the road, and I'm trying to flag down a car. One doesn't come by for 5 minutes. Eventually it does. And it was an old high school friend. I don't know his last name.
What's his first name?
Keller.
I'm sorry?
K-E-L-L-R. Helped me call my parents to let them know my car is in the river.
Okay.
And this is at 2 a.m.
And what'd you tell your parents? I mean, you obviously, gotta tell them something, the car's in the river.
Yeah. So what I say is, I feel like I need to get out. I often do. I feel like I need to get out. And my thought. Have you ever felt that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I say that I drive down to the Blue Heron Point and just park and just turn off the car and think.
Okay.
And I tell them that I'm stupid and I park too low and that my car flies in the river.
Okay. Did they believe you?
Yes.
Okay.
So did the police.
The police came too?
Yes, they called the police because while they were warming up, they tried 5 different tow truck companies. All of them said, "Oh, our driver's off shift," or "Oh, we don't have the proper equipment." So they called the police. So one of them told them to call the state patrol. They couldn't get the number from the state patrol, so they called 911.
Okay.
And then the police came. I didn't do a breathalyzer test because I wasn't drinking.
I did not know that. No.
How do we call a tow for that?
I don't know, because he'd have to get in the friggin' water.
Yeah.
And they want me to text them a photo of the car because they think they might be able to pull it out.
Okay.
I don't think so. Maybe the patrolman would be in a better position to answer that question since I've never really had a car in the water before. He's like, I don't want to get wet. I don't have the proper clothing to go into the water and get wet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think our
teenagers.
I think our
While we're in that area, do you take any medications for the
I do.
ADHD? Okay.
I take...
Were you on regular amounts for that stuff?
No, I was on nothing.
Oh, didn't take any of that.
No, they just wait until this morning to pull it out.
Oh, pulled it up this morning.
Yeah, however, what immediately caught the police's attention is the blood from the body was on the reverse bumper. I forgot to wipe it off.
Oh.
And I was so panicked that I wasn't thinking. And so when they pull it out, they immediately see blood on the bumper. And they're all thinking, we'd really like to get in this trunk. Fools. There is nothing in the trunk.
Ah. Okay.
And
that happened this morning?
no, they noticed it after I'd been sent home at 3 a.m.
Okay.
They noticed the blood. But yeah, this morning they noticed more blood on the door handle, the other door handle, passenger one.
Okay.
Yeah, and also the multi-layered gloves in the car. I took them out in.
So when you say they were curious about the blood, how do you know that they were curious
Because
about it?
my parents told me.
Oh.
They saw the blood too, and they were curious. But I said, I don't know where the blood came from.
Oh.
I had no idea. They thought maybe it was the, but obviously it couldn't produce that much blood. And they said maybe it was the recovering abscess under my arm, but that was scabbed up.
Okay.
So they were just, they didn't know what to believe this day because it's blood, it's sticky, it's sinewy, but I can't name a source. So they were just a tiny bit curious.
You said you took, was it the head and the hands?
Mm-hmm.
When did you put that in?
Well, there's a 3 rule for bodies. I like to call it the 3 rule.
Okay, tell me about that.
3 days, the body starts to stink. No, 3 hours, rigor mortis sets in. Body stiffens. 3 days, the body starts to stink because of decomposition. 3 weeks, the body is starting to seriously decompose.
Right, great.
3 months, the body is unrecognizable. 3 years, it turns into a skeleton. I've always had a fascination with forensics and with anatomy and physiology. That's something I made up. That's something I don't want to sound like I'm inventing something. That's why I coined the 3 rule.
You kind of remember it that way.
Yeah.
That's your way of
Is
remembering
it accurate?
Well, somewhat. So Yeah, so what did you have the head and the hand at your house?
The head, because it was starting to stink, I was planning on throwing the head and hands away.
Okay.
Not in the trash bag, and not in the kitchen trash, but they were both in trash bags. The head was in a trash bag, I hid up the trash bag. Hands, I put in a trash bag as well. They were in Ziploc bags. And I was planning, did they sell empty paint buckets? I was planning to buy an empty paint bucket, put the head in it, seal it, and then I was going to throw it off in some ditch.
The head is inside of a trash bag.
It was.
Well, where is it now?
In the kitchen sink. My parents searched through my room and they found the head and hands.
Okay, and so are the head and the hands in the kitchen sink now?
I'm not sure.
Brian's mother relived her experience in court. She ran a daycare at the family home, and when she discovered the head, she stated her first action was to get everyone in her care home and safe.
Brian, I have to ask, a lot of people that we have talked with, or they're just not as well spoken as you are, to be honest with you. You're very articulate. You're very articulate.
I think I'm bad with words.
No, I actually think you're really articulate. And you talked about you were just kind of in a bad state that night.
It was, yeah.
Okay. Why were you in a bad state?
I didn't take my medicine, and plus for years I was wondering what murder would feel like, because you read like Ted Bundy and the Zodiac, they all say murder's the best feeling in the world. So I'm like, I'm going to try that.
Okay.
So for some time I had been wondering when it would happen. I always knew I would be in this building, whether it was as a criminal or a police officer.
How long do you really, honestly think you've been thinking about really at some point you wanted to know what murder felt like?
A year.
Okay. All right. And you said you read books?
I read books. I have a book on forensics.
Okay. Did you read the Ted Bundy book?
No, I have not read the Ted Bundy book.
Okay.
I
probably have seen excerpts. Have you seen little comments from it or things like that?
I'm not sure what book you're talking about.
The one you mentioned, the whole stuff about Ted Bundy. A lot has been written.
No, it was on the internet.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
So can I ask you a question? Almost all those people did this for some sort of, whether they had a body or it was some gratification in their mind.
Criminology, there's different types of. I'm not a serial killer by no means.
Just wondering what gets you excited about doing it?
Well, I'm not really attracted to it.
I was just asking.
It was just curiosity, more or less.
And you said you studied criminology and forensics and all that?
I not college study or school study. It's like a passing interest.
I understand. But what were you worried about, like leaving evidence behind or being caught?
Totally.
So tell me about that and what you did.
Well, I was figuring the police don't. This is not to be taken offense, but police, they don't seem to care as much about high-risk individuals, homeless people, prostitutes, etc. So I was deliberately looking for someone who lived that type of life. And I found a homeless person, and the original goal was just leave him there. But I was worried about the fibers on the outfit I was wearing that would be on his clothes and stuff. So I deliberately messed up the clothes, cutting them up, just throwing them around. And I was worried about just how long it would take to find him, because it's a somewhat traveled road. Eventually someone with the windows down is going to smell something off. Right. Police have a nose for that type of thing. They're trained to be able to identify the smell of a corpse. So that's where the river idea came from, because a river will wash away a lot of evidence. Rivers are quite true.
During early February 2021, Cohee's Google searches included results such as holding people at knife point, how dangerous is a neck wound, where do homeless people sleep in winter, how to wipe data from an Android phone, and how long does it take a body to stink, how to subscribe and hit the bell notification. On the day of the murder, Cohee also visits a website for an organic waste disposal service.
I would go on night drives often, maybe once every 2 weeks. And I would just peruse the streets.
Okay. So before this guy, how close had you come in the past?
Not at all.
Not at all? You just drive around?
Yeah, well, just try and find
You see anybody interesting and
No.
in your mind thought of a plan?
Well, occasionally when you see girls walking down the street, I take a glance at them because it really is like Ed Kemper, where half of me says, well, I'm quite inept with women. I'm being honest, I'm no Casanova. But half of me says, I want to take that girl home and make her feel nice. And the other half of me, just like what Ed said, is I want to see what her head looks like on a stick. And when they see blood, and eventually when they're going to get the news that a body was found in a river, that's very much circumstantial evidence that's pointing to me. So I was very much anxious these past days that I was eventually going to get caught.
Okay. What did you think would happen if you got caught?
Well, I figured my mother would have confronted me about it, but no, she didn't even say it until the police arrived. I thought the police would handcuff me, but apparently I've been cooperational, so.
Do you know who the person was that you killed?
No. I took his wallet. I didn't look at it. I just picked it up, briefly scanned over it, and put it in my car. Apparently it was Warren. My mom told me that before she found out that the missing person was Warren Brown, born in 1963.
Okay.
Right? That's it.
Any reason you were wearing that blue one-piece jumpers?
Well, you know the movie Halloween, Michael Myers?
Mm-hmm.
He wears one of those, and for Halloween last year, I bought that as a costume to unmask in the room.
Okay.
And, I just associated that piece of, that article of clothing with violence. That's why I was wearing it.
You said you've thought about doing this for the last 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it before?
No.
Okay. You gotta ask, right?
Yeah.
How about animals? Have you practiced on anything?
Yes.
It's pretty big stuff.
Tell us about that.
Person.
It was 2018 Halloween. A stray black cat had been coming around our house. This was before I moved into my mom's. This was at my dad's. And I was thinking about killing him. I then hid the body in a shoebox, and then I disposed in the trash and got away with it.
Okay.
And that cat.
Did you keep them for a while like you did this guy, or?
I kept it for 3 days. Then it started to stink.
So you got the 3 days and it stinks?
Well, also because bodies, bacteria starts to float the body after a day to 3 days. So.
How about when you were 12? Did you think about killing?
No.
So what in your life has changed, or what in your mind has changed to make you know? Was it like something all of a sudden one day you woke up and thought I'll kill someone, or was it a gradual?
It was gradual, I think.
So tell me about when those thoughts first started happening.
Well, in high school, last year, my parents found a kit I had been assembling. It had hammers, shovels, knives, large zip ties, duct tape, saw. That was meant for hurting people. They found it though, and I convinced them it was via other methods.
During the trial, Brian's closest friend testified to the prosecutors, revealing his morbid fascination with murder dating back to his freshman year of high school. As evidence, she presented a comical sketch drawn by Cohee, which he had shared with her, depicting the comical removal of a person's head.
And it was an ultimatum where if I didn't throw it away, all that, they would call the police, and then I would have been arrested on charges of conspiracy. That was last year.
So what made you put that kit together?
That was for nights like that.
Okay. So back then you were thinking about doing that?
Yes.
I mean, what was kind of your plan then? That's a little bit different than you did this time.
Oh, yeah.
So what was the plan back then?
The plan was to go find, because there's no seats in Grand Junction, I don't think. Have you ever had any times?
Yeah. There's not like 5 of them standing alongside the road, but there's part of Grand Junction.
Yeah, the plan was to go with one of them and have them come with me. And then the plan was to subdue them and tie them up and then her. That would have been too on nature. This was just to see what it felt like. But that would have been.
So you thought about the killing, but this one was just see what killing comes.
Yeah. Although I wasn't breaking the sweat killing the guy. It was quite easy.
Well, did you enjoy it or not enjoy it?
Did I enjoy it? I don't know. Sort of neutral to the whole thing.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't hate it.
So I'm curious about the mob taking parts of him home. Have you ever thought about? Well, it sounds like you've had like Ted Bundy type stuff. Ed Kemper just kill people because you want to kill somebody. How about Jeffrey Dahmer?
It wasn't really inspired by it. It was just more.
I'm just trying to think of all the people I can.
These people can do it, so can I.
You know, schizophrenia is pretty
Extreme.
clear because people
I don't have.
recognize they have a different personality in there.
I don't have. I don't have any hallucination.
Okay.
I had delusions, I guess.
Okay.
Like years ago, I thought I was obsessed with people staring at me.
Okay.
I felt people watching me from every window. The birds were looking at me, watching me.
Okay.
That was a delusion, I suppose.
Right. But you don't have times where you feel like another personality is in your body?
No,
You remember all this.
That's dissociative identity disorder.
Right.
Schizophrenia is.
Well, you have multiple people talking to you at the same time, kind of a thing.
No one was talking to me.
Okay.
Did he see you?
No, he was not woken up until I pulled the sheets back. Get on him, like a knee, and then him, and he wakes up. He's, "Why are you doing? Why are you doing? Yeah, and
I think you anywhere besides, but I know you said the neck a lot of times. How many times do you think? Did you count them?
No, I was going until he stopped.
Okay, how many? Just your best idea how many times?
30 or 40
Okay.
after he perished.
Okay, and how did you know he perished?
He let out a final gasp,
Okay.
and he wasn't fighting later on. He was losing too much energy, blood loss,
Okay.
and he just finally gasped. And I needed to make sure peace of mind, so I gave him partially as for the hell of it.
Did you take any pictures that night?
Yes, but I deleted them
Okay.
entirely.
Where did you take pictures?
After I killed him, I took a picture of him, his hands, but I deleted all those because those are evidence.
I'm very curious. How do you feel about all this now?
The next 15 years of my life, book set in stone, prison. If I go back tonight, probably wouldn't have done it. Knowing that, knowing what it felt like, knowing how this will all turn out, I wouldn't have done it.
Well, what did you think it was going to feel like? What did you said you were curious. What did you think it was going to feel like?
I thought it would be the best feeling in the world.
During the trial, Cohee's defense argued that a combination of autism, ADHD, depressive disorder, intrusive thoughts resulting from a lack of medication, and the isolation brought about by the pandemic all played a role in his fascination with violence. They suggested that this combination created a perfect cocktail of circumstances that contributed to the events that unfolded. Prosecutors aimed to establish Brian's sanity on the night of the murder by presenting evidence of his planning and attempts to conceal the crime, indicating his awareness of its wrongful nature. One significant piece of evidence supporting this assertion was the entry in Brian's calendar. He wrote the word "first" on the day on which he committed his crime, confirming that it wasn't a moment of insanity. Brian Cohee went on to be sentenced to life without parole. A memorial has been set up in memory of Warren Barnes at the same spot in which he used to always sit and read. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe and hit the bell notification below.